Welcome back to QUTV's Game Day here on the GLVC Sports Network. We're back to preview the men's basketball game between the Quincy Hawks and the Maryville Saints. I'm Tony Lundy, alongside me, Ryan Capps. Ryan, how are we feeling about today's game?
I feel really good about this game today. Obviously, you're not going to want to. The boys haven't really played as well as they would have hoped to, so they're going to really want to bounce back from that. Still try to ride the high from the girls' game and the momentum that they have so far in the season. So they're going to want to try to ride that high that they're having and then kind of play well in their own aspect of the game.
Coming into this matchup here today, Quincy has a 15-7 record against Maryville since December of 2010. Quincy comes in with a 4-game winning streak against Maryville, where they have a 7-4 record in that time here at Pepsi Arena, and their last match was in favor of Quincy at Maryville with a score of 71-66.
And Quincy comes in this game with a record of 8-16, 3-13 in conference play, which is kind of not what you want to see there. So they're going to want to look to get that record up, see what they can end up the season with 8 straight losses coming into this game. So that's going to be a big thing that they're going to want to try to wipe clean from their slate. And right now they're shooting about 44.5% from the field, which isn't too bad in their own right, but still, opponents are shooting 46.2% from the field. So they're still getting outshot in there, averaging 35 rebounds a game. So that's a little bit on the lower side, and they're going to want to get that up so they can just kind of have points off turnovers and then get second chance points. And right now they're just struggling to hang on to the ball, averaging 13.3 turnovers a game.
As for Maryville comes in with a 7-18 record, 3-14 in the conference, and they're tied with Quincy for the last spot in the GLVC, being outscored by their opponents by 4.5-point margin, which is last in the GLVC. They're shooting 48.7% from the field, which ranks 3rd in the GLVC, but they're struggling to get rebounds as they're averaging about 30 a game, which sits second to last here in the GLVC. They're about one of those middle-of-the-pack teams when it comes to steals and turnovers, but they're being out-rebounded 8.2 boards a game. Some players to watch here for Maryville is Lucas Barton, who is shooting 61.3% from the field, which sits second in the GLVC, and he's also shooting 37% from downtown, which sits second on the team. He's averaging 14.4 points, which is 16th in the GLVC, but first for Maryville, and he leads the Saints in blocks and rebounds. And second player to watch out for is Dwayne Bass. He's shooting 54% from the field, which is 4th in the GLVC, and he's shooting 40% from downtown, which is first on the team. He's also averaging 11 points per game, among 30 steals on the season, which is 8th in the GLVC.
And some key players that you're going to want to watch out for from Quincy is going to be Ethan Brown, who's averaging 11.1 points per game, 3.3 assists per game, and 2.6 rebounds per game. And another player you're going to want to watch out for is Max Booker. And he's only a freshman, averaging 12.1 points per game, shooting 39% from 3. So those are some players that you're going to want to keep an eye out on the court for and watch out for them in this game.
And what do you think the Hawks are going to need to do here today to get the win?
I think they're just going to need to play a consistent game throughout. As from the games that I've seen, that they get on a hot streak and they start performing really well, scoring and holding their opponents, but then they kind of lose it and lose their momentum, and then opponents come back and go on a streak of their own, and that's kind of when they fall down on themselves and just allow the game to kind of get out of hand. So they're going to just need to play a complete game throughout.
And for Maryville, I think the key here is rebounding. I think the key here for the whole game is rebounding, as they're both being out-rebounded. Maryville is on the smaller side, so if they could just find a way to get some hustle rebounds, I think they could get better shots up and have a chance here to win today.
Yeah, I do think it's going to be a close game throughout, as both of these teams are kind of in the lower end of the GLVC, so they're going to want to fight for their spot ahead of each other, so it's going to be a close game no matter what.
Yeah, and they just need to have that momentum to carry out to the end of the year and maybe just have some momentum going into next year. I know the Hawks have Mason Wiek back, so that might be good for them. But thank you for tuning in on the GLVC Sports Network for QUTV's Game Day production. Good luck to both teams today, and most importantly, enjoy the show.